Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today I'm going to be trying out a new recipe that I found on the WW app that sounds really good, and it also sounds perfect for the cool fall weather that we're having right now. And that is for 2-bean chili and cheesy bread bowls. Like I said, these just sound perfect for a nice comfort food on a cold fall evening. So I wanted to try these out. And the thing that really caught my attention with them is the fact that they have these bread bowls that are made out of the 2-ingredient pizza dough. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I absolutely love the 2-ingredient dough and using it in different things. So when I saw these, I knew I wanted to try them. So let me go over the ingredients. Now I should say I am making a couple changes to the WW recipe. I typically do with their recipes. So the link that I'm going to put down for the recipe builder is going to reflect those changes that I've made. First off, for the bread bowls, you're going to need some self-rising flour, 1.5 cups. And then you're going to need some plain fat-free Greek yogurt, 1.25 cups. And then some cheese. You're going to use the cheese, or you're going to need this cheese for not only the bread bowls, but also to top these with. So I'm using this reduced fat Kroger Mexican style blend cheese, and I'm going to be using 3/4 cup of that. Again, that's going to be divided. Also for the dough, you're going to need a little bit of chili powder, but you're also going to need that for the chili. For the chili itself, again, you're going to need chili powder, ground cumin, smoked paprika. I've got a can of pinto beans here, a can of red kidney beans, or light red, a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt. Here I've got a medium red onion that I've chopped up. And in here, to top these with, I've got about 1/4 cup green onions chopped. And then lastly, I've got a couple tablespoons of jalapeno peppers. These are just the jarred or canned ones. You definitely use fresh. The recipe actually calls for fresh, but I don't typically have fresh jalapenos on hand, whereas I do always have the jarred or canned ones. Oh, and you're gonna need some cooking spray, and that is for the bread bowls, because you're gonna be forming those on the back of a muffin tin. But that is everything. Let me jump into these. First thing you're gonna wanna do is get your oven preheating to 450, and then in a medium-sized bowl here, I'm gonna add in my 1.5 cups flour. And again, this is self-rising flour, not all-purpose. A 1/2 cup cheese and 1/4 teaspoon chili powder. Then I'm gonna just mix the 3 of those together. I'm gonna add in my 1.25 cups fat-free Greek yogurt, and I'm gonna stir that in. And it says to stir until just combined, and then use your hands to mix together for another minute or so. So I've got this about as far as I'm gonna go with the spoon. So now I'm gonna mix this with my hands, and I am gonna use gloves because I don't want to get my hands all gross with the dough. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mix this for about a minute in here until it starts to form a dough. All right, that's looking good. So now what I'm gonna do is, on a lightly floured surface here, I'm gonna go ahead and knead this. I like to knead my 2-ingredient dough for longer than the WW recipes usually call for. I just think it makes it easier to work with that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and knead this for probably another couple minutes. All right, I've kneaded this for a couple extra minutes. Now what I'm gonna do on a lightly floured surface again is I'm gonna cut this into halves. And then each half I'm going to cut into thirds until I end up with 6 roughly equal parts, or as close to equal as you can get them, I should say. And now I'm gonna take each one of those parts and I'm gonna roll it out or flatten it out to a roughly 5-inch diameter circle. And this dough is actually working pretty well. I don't even really need a rolling pin, but you could definitely roll this out with a rolling pin too, but it's flattening out pretty nicely just with my hands. So now on a muffin tin here, I'm going to spray with my cooking spray. Then I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to just kind of lie it over and press it down to sort of form around the bottom of that muffin tin. And then I'm gonna just do the same thing with the rest of these, and I will be back once I've got that done. All right, I've got all these on, and these two are touching because it says to lay them on there or put them on there so that they're not touching, so they have room to rise. There's really no way to do that with a 12. So I would recommend using more than one pan if you have it to spread these out so they're not touching. And then also the ones on the edges here, hopefully those are gonna be okay. But I've got them all on here. My oven is preheated to 450, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the oven for, it says 13 to 15 minutes or until they're golden brown. So I'll do that and then move on to the next step. I've got a large pan here on medium heat, and to that I'm gonna add my chopped onions, jalapenos, and a couple teaspoons, or close to anyway, maybe a little more, of minced garlic. Then I'm gonna cook this in here for, it says 5 minutes. Those veggies are cooking in there. I'm gonna go ahead and take half a cup of my drained and rinsed pinto beans. I've just got them in a small bowl here, and I'm gonna just mash them up, it says, until mostly smooth. And then back over here at my onions, jalapenos, and garlic. That's got a little bit of a brown on it, which is what you're looking for. So now I'm gonna add in my rinsed and drained kidney beans, the remainder of my pinto beans that are rinsed and drained, my fire roasted tomatoes, 2 teaspoons chili powder, half teaspoon ground cumin, half teaspoon smoked paprika, and a half teaspoon salt. And then they didn't have this in the recipe or the ingredient list, but it's calling for a 1/4 cup of water. And then you're gonna just stir all of that together really well. And then it says to bring this to a boil. And here's my bread bowls. I let these bake in there for 13 minutes. They're like done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull them off of the muffin tin and lay them on a wire rack. And here I got all those off. They came off pretty well. I did use a knife to kind of pry the ones that were on the edges there because they were stuck a little bit, but they all came off intact, so that was good. So I'm gonna just let them sit here on this wire rack until my chili is done. My chili mixture is coming to a boil, so now I'm going to add in my mashed pinto beans and stir those in. And then I'm going to reduce my heat to low and let this continue to simmer, and I'll probably stir it occasionally for another 5 minutes or so. I've got my chili done here, and over here I've got a bread bowl. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to put these together. It does say that you want to put these together right as you're eating them or right before you want to eat them. Otherwise, it would make sense. These are going to get, the bread bowl is going to get soggy. So you want to put these together right before you eat them. You can make it ahead and have it just ready to go, but you don't want to put them together until you're actually going to eat it. So I'm going to take a half cup of this chili, pour it in my bowl. I'm going to top with 2 teaspoons of that same Mexican style cheese that I used for the bread bowls. And then a little bit of the green onion. I could also see topping these with more jalapeno too. So that is what it looks like. Looks good. Smells good. Those bread bowls, sorry my dog is over there snorting. Those bread bowls smelled really good as they were baking. They smell good now too, but that's what it looks like. The points currently on these for the plan that's going to be changing here. By the time you see this, the plan will probably have changed. But the personal points for me would be 5 points. But again, I will have the new points on the screen for the new plan. That most likely will be in effect by the time you see this. Plus I will have the calories on the screen as well. But 5 points doesn't sound too bad as far as the old points go. I'll have my hubby give this a try. Let us know what he thinks of it. Give that a taste.
I mean, it's not going to be pretty when I'm
No.
done with it. So let's do the...
Do the chili first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Really strong. I'm not sure what that seasoning is.
It's got cumin, chili powder, paprika.
That might be the chili powder. I don't know. Really good chili flavor, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Whoops.
Yeah, I was telling him I'm not really sure the best way to eat these other than I guess what you're doing right there, just kind of
Well, has anybody ever really figured out how to eat a
bread bowl.
bread bowl?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a right way. How's it? Yeah, I'm real curious how to show that up close. I just love the 2-ingredient dough. It is so good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what that is.
I'm gonna take a bite.
It's
with
really
it.
light. I don't know, it seems fluffier than normal.
It does look pretty fluffy. I mean, it really does depend. It kind of turns out different every time. And, you know, that changes with what's in it too.
Yeah, that really pairs nicely with the
Chili?
chili.
All right. You like them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, guys. Like I said, I will have the updated points and calories on the screen. And as always, I will have ingredients, instructions, recipe builder link, and as I said, calories and macros. All of that you will find down in the description box. But that was 2 bean chili bread bowls.
How many points?
Well, on the old plan, currently 5.
I mean, that's very hearty.
Very satisfying looking.
Yeah, so the serving size actually is probably normal looking to folks, but don't think that that's not enough because it is.
Yeah, no, I think it looks like a pretty good
Yeah.
serving size. All right.
Sorry to re-interrupt there.
No, you're good. All right, I'm looking forward to trying one of these myself because they do smell good. Thank you guys as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.